Hello and welcome to episode 67 of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. So, in the last episode we helped a bunch of people to get away from the monsters. We killed quite a few of them. And the episode went a bit over time, but yeah, I don't think you mind. So, let's see what LSA have to stay here and start our next quest. To see Xenos standing there, so uncaring and unrepentant. Gods, I don't know what came over me. I just blurted out the first thing that came to mind. But looking back on it, I stand by those words. I would say I hope they won't incite him to further villainy. But to be honest, I doubt he even remembers what I said. Anyway, enough about all that. It's good to see you again. Alright. There we go, and let's see what we got here. Useful. Oh yeah. A nice sword. That reminds me, I'm level 90. I can probably pick up my level 89 gear. But well, let's do that when we I'm actually not even sure if I can do that yet. There's a bit of a storyline to it. So let's equip this. And that's the ugliest sword I ever seen, so let's make it look a bit better. Fly. Okay.
No major injuries then. Good. I briefed the recovered soldiers and sent them on their way as quickly as I could, but nevertheless feared they would not make it in time.
The additional support was invaluable. Your men saved more than a few lives. Though not all, I regret to say.
I take it that I am addressing Lucia Junius. I am the Forum's envoy, Fortuneau Leveilleur. And you are owed an explanation for these most dire developments.
Another trial wrought by the final days. I was beginning to suspect as much. You doubtless feel some consternation having been forced to abandon your original plan. But trust me when I say you were right to send the refugees elsewhere. Beasts have been sighted within the capital. Perhaps it was a stroke of grim fortune that the population was decimated beforehand, as they've yet to appear in any great number, but in time. In any case, Maxima leads the remainder of the contingent in an effort to cull the creatures and evacuate the populace as we speak. Once the airships have taken to the skies, I pray your men can be persuaded to join him.
You'll permit us to retain our weapons?
I wouldn't have sent you after the Scions were I expecting you to stab them in the back.
And I, for one, would not consider past transgressions more relevant than future contributions. Regardless of the circumstances that saw us at odds before, we need men of courage now, more than ever.
We swore to defend Garlemald, and so we shall.
It seems you have everything under control. You will excuse me then, for mine own duties await.
A moment, Master Fortuno. You did desire to express your appreciation for services rendered, did you not?
I did. Though if you intend to again ask that Charlian alter its course, you will find my gratitude insufficient.
'Tis nothing so onerous. I wish to hear the details of this grand endeavor of yours.
Do you swear to listen and to learn, and not to embark upon some scheme to impede us?
I swear.
Any other I would doubt, but you I trust to keep your word. For not once have you broken it. Very well. I will request that the Forum make you privy to our plans. You may await our summons at the Baldessian Annex, assuming the decision is in your favor. Does that suffice?
It does. You have my thanks.
Excellent. You can regale us with tales of your most recent sojourn to the First while we wait. Did you hear something just now?
Dawn may banish even the darkest night, and to this bitter clime bring warmth and comfort. 'Tis heartening to see such an assembly upon my return. I thought often of you whilst I looked down upon our star's brilliance from the moon above.
Yes, but what are you doing here? And dressed like that? Aren't you cold?
Verily, I fear for my health should I proceed to expound upon our purpose ere I procure more suitable garments.
Then allow me to summarize. We're here because none of you lot are up there. Nor has anyone deigned to send word about any changes in the plans. It's rude, is what it is. At least that's what I thought at first, but then folks got to wondering if you weren't in a spot of bother, so we decided to take matters into our own hands. Come down here and help, if our help be needed. So she says, but it's also something of a convenient excuse to visit Aetheris. Oyanje made it sound absolutely marvellous. More so before the impending doom, but still. And it's not like there will ever be a better time. What with the aforementioned doom?
Marvellous, they say, yet not an ounce of pudding to be found. I must suffer Urianger's inferior works no more.
Hey! Maybe consider the plight of present company before you go blathering on about pudding and doom? Ahem. As I was saying, should you require any assistance with whatever, we are at your disposal. We were born from Heidelin's love for the lives of this star, so naturally we would much prefer to see them continue. Twiddling our thumbs up on the moon is hardly conducive to that, though, is it? Aye, not when you've all got such precious thoughts and feelings and hopes for the future deserving of more active preservation. Speaking to Urianger made us realize that while we've carried out our duties to the letter, we've failed to fulfill them in spirit. From there, it was just a hop, skip, and a jump towards resolving to do better. So please, show us how. Help us help you.
Forgive me, but are they...
Thy distant collaborators, indeed.
Hail, fellow, well met. You'd be a member of the Forum, would you? It's an honor and a pleasure to meet you at last. I'm Livingway, Heidelin's right paw. That last bit is very important, as am I, if I may humbly say so myself.
I bid you welcome to our star, Livingway. On behalf of the Forum, I thank you for traveling such a distance to meet us. As you have surmised, preparations for the Exodus have not proceeded as smoothly as we had hoped. I should be happy to personally escort you to our headquarters in Charlian, where you may advise us as you deem fit.
'Twas with reluctance that I set aside the great work of readying the moon for habitation. Be assured that I did so only after the Loperites made plain their earnest desire to come hither, and I myself felt a growing certainty that their contributions here would prove invaluable. 'Tis trite, perhaps, but I followed my heart.
May thy disciples banish this darkest of nights.
I am no esteemed philosopher of Eld. Nevertheless, 'tis my hope that what little knowledge I shared shall serve them well, and perchance help save us all. Wilt thou attend us at the Forum and lend thine own wisdom?
If that's all quite settled, can we start moving before Urianger catches his death? Even I'm freezing out here.
Oh, I dare say you'll warm up quickly once you're aboard the airship. Sat shoulder to shoulder with our fur-covered friends.
Alright, well, that was a pretty long the hell are we? Oh. That was a pretty long cutscene. But let's talk to Urianger here, see what's happening. I dare say Mother Fortunal was as nonplussed as we to learn the identity of Heidelin's lunar custodians. As he will soon discover, they have much and more to offer the Forum. Might I suggest we return to the Annex forthwith? We may yet have time to discuss thy recent adventure. Here we are summoned to the rostra. Alright. Let's speed up a bit. Let's go. Yeah, there is supposed to be one more bag right over here. So we do not have access to that level 90 gear yet. So let's where are we heading? What? Oh, it is here. Valdesian Annex. Alright. Alright. Not that I'm complaining around here, but I wasn't expecting to see you quite so soon. Nor I thee. In extolling the virtues of Iferus, I did inadvertently awaken in the Loporates a desire to avert our beloved star's demise. Cry tells us you have obtained new knowledge that may aid us in our ongoing efforts. I've news to share regarding our study of the ethereal sea, but your findings are certain to be greater interest, and so I would rather hear them from them first. To what revelation did Heidelin's Elpis flower lead? Then this dynamis is what drives the final days. If it and Akasha are one and the same, this all but proves Nidhana's theory. Were an entity through sheer force of emotions to channel this vast dormant reservoir into a raging river, its power might surpass even that of ether. But if our star is so replete with ether, said entity would need to be outside its influence to effectively manipulate the dynamis of the great expanse. Meteion, or rather the sorrow and the suffering of fallen civilization that she has been hoarding of millennia. Untold anguish and fear and hatred drawn from every corner of the universe. All for a single purpose, the destruction of Inferius. Then our foe is no longer some unknowable calamity. We have but one aim, to defeat Meteion. You make it sound so simple, but you're not wrong. Vanquish Meteion and we deliver the world from the final days. But to even attempt it, there are two conditions. First, we must determine her location. Before Meteion escaped, an enchantment was placed upon her by Venat, the woman who would become Heidelin. The implications of temporal magics are not entirely understood, and so we cannot assume that our Heidelin and the Venat you meet in Elpis are one and the same. Nevertheless, due to her intrinsic qualities as an all-powerful being, I'd wager that Heidelin possesses the knowledge we seek. Whether she would share that knowledge with us, however, remains to be seen. After all, she intends for us to flee the Inferius, not to stay. Do you suppose she has abandoned her pursuit of Meteion? The one that I know would never give up. Yeah, let's go with that. That's my impression too. Otherwise, she wouldn't have used me as a conduit for her will, or provided clues such as the Elpis flower. I believe she has been waiting for mankind's answer to Hermes' question. So what's the second condition? We must find a means to reach Meteion. Naturally, our chosen method will depend entirely upon wheresoever she has made her nest. Then communing with Heidelin must be necessity come first. Did you and Mos Matoya have any luck with your investigation into the Ethereal Sea? Sadly not, but we enlisted the help of Arnwald and other Echo-blessed allies. We couldn't detect so much as a whisper from Heidelin, even from within the Antitower. Master Matoya is of the opinion that in the years since abandoning it, the Forum has found some other method of receiving instructions from Heidelin. If so, I would most likely be some form of apparatus for observing the Ethereal Sea, built close to home. Sorry to interrupt. We just received word from the Forum. Your presence is required in the rostra, where they intend to discuss the Great Exodus. Then father was able to persuade them. They're finally taking us seriously. Let's hear what they have to say. Alright, so yeah, up to Rostera next. The forum is in session, and as such, the rostra is closed to visitors. A scion of the seventh dawn. Very well, you may wait in the corridor. Of course, entry will only be permitted to the permitted on the condition you leave your armaments at the door. Lest you forget, this sacred institution holds rational discussions in the highest. The implements of war are expressly forbidden. All right. Whoa. Oops. There was no staircase.
There is a matter I wish to raise with you before we enter. We are here to listen and to learn. But if the forum's plans are more or less what I expect, then I should like to make a proposal that will serve our ends. By your leave, of course.
I don't see why not. Your words and wits have gotten us this far. Agreed. I will present our queries so that you may consider the most advantageous way to advance your proposal without distraction.
Thank you, everyone.
If I may have your attention, the ad hoc session will now commence. The purpose of today's assembly is to brief the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, at their request, on the Great Exodus. You may enter. On behalf of the Forum, I commend your heroic actions on the Magna Glaciers. We shall not soon forget your service to us and the people of Radzat-Han. The Satrap, whom we have informed of the refugees' new arrangements, sings your praises as well. As an expression of our gratitude, we will endeavor to answer your questions as fully and openly as we are able.
Then let us begin. First, it is the Forum's objective to ferry the life and knowledge of this star to the moon. Am I correct?
You are. It is for this purpose that Sharlayan has labored these many long years. We have collected biological samples and scientific records from across the star. When the time comes, they will be moved from their places in Labyrinthos and Numenon and conveyed to safety. Once that critical task has been accomplished, we will begin transporting the Sharlayan citizenry, which has been categorized into groups. The earliest arrivals are to ensure hospitable environs for those who come after. Following our people, we will send those of other nations in turn, beginning with our allies. Radzat-Han was foremost among these, but since the final days have already come to Thavnair, we saw fit to include the refugees with earlier groupings.
An ambitious plan. You have accounted for the safety of all nations and tribes, then?
As many as we can.
And how, pray tell, do you decide who to leave behind?
To journey beyond the sky is an unprecedented and immeasurably difficult endeavor. Introducing sources of inevitable conflict would condemn all to certain death.
Questions as to the validity of that approach aside, are your plans proceeding apace? We're under the impression that your primary means of celestial transportation is incomplete.
If only in that it does not meet our optimal parameters, that is correct. This Ark, as some have taken to calling it, is fully operational and could be launched even today. However, the final days have progressed more quickly than we anticipated. At present, the ship is incapable of attaining speeds sufficient to meet our evacuation targets. Should we put the vessel into service, as it is now, we will be unable to travel to the moon and back quickly enough to complete the necessary number of trips. Precious lives and knowledge will be lost.
Seven hells. Is there anything to be done?
The ether burner, the primary means of propulsion once the craft is in the space between stars, is undergoing testing to determine whether it can be made more efficient. Though cargo is being loaded for the initial phase of the Exodus, we are prepared to continue our experimentation up to the day before launch, should it prove necessary.
What if the Scions were to solve your problem? We shall help devise a means to improve the ether burner's efficiency, on 2 conditions. If we succeed, you must allow us to meet with Hydaelyn.
'Twas simple enough to deduce. You have a Concord, and so you would never have abandoned the anti-tower had you no other means of communication. One far more convenient, I suspect.
The second condition, also to be met upon our success, is that we be permitted to propose another use for your Ark.
We would be at liberty to refuse this proposal.
Of course. If we cannot prove its merit to the 99 here, who are we to stake on it the lives of all peoples of this star?
Delightful as always, Master Alfino. Oh, we couldn't have asked for a finer plan. Allow us to solve this complex engineering problem of which we were entirely unaware until moments ago. What could possibly go wrong? The satire writes itself. Yet, what field has not benefited from a change in perspective? When we are at wit's end, what we need is not the same dry theories recited ad nauseam, but fresh inspiration. I, for one, have faith in my erstwhile students to provide it, and I find their terms to be perfectly acceptable.
Order! Order! We have no time to waste on debate. I call a vote. All in favor of agreeing to the Scion's terms? "71 in favor, 28 against. The ayes have it. Fortuneau, as the architect of this project, you are the best candidate to show them its current state. And bear in mind that regardless of your personal misgivings, this is the will of the Forum.
Very well.
I call this session to a close. Return to your tasks with urgency. The final days wait for none.
All right. Well, that was unexpected. Well, I'm going to call it here because if I remember correctly, there is a pretty long cutscene as I talked to Alphanode here. So we will continue this in the next episode. And I hope you all enjoyed this episode. And if you did, please hit the like button. And if you're new here, first of all, welcome. And yeah, if you enjoy my content, then why don't you hit the subscribe button together with the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my future content. I will be back again tomorrow, and until then, stay safe out there.